Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, Russia launched more than 150 Shahed drones and 7 missiles over Ukraine, according to the country's air force. Ukrainian authorities reported several incidents in a number of Ukrainian regions. In the city of Sumy, 4 civilians were injured by falling debris from drones that had targeted critical infrastructure. The Dnipro region also came under a massive drone attack. According to the regional military administration chief, Ukrainian air defense forces destroyed 15 Russian drones in total. Fires broke out at the sites of impact, but rescuers were quick to respond, avoiding further damage. Officials confirm there were no casualties. Meanwhile, Russian forces carried out a missile strike on a humanitarian mission in the Chernihiv region on Thursday. The rocket hit near a checkpoint on the approach to a settlement close to Chernihiv itself. Now, the Russian Ministry of Defense claimed the strike had destroyed legitimate military targets, not a humanitarian mission, insisting that Ukrainian authorities were misinterpreting the situation. Moscow stated the attack had hit vehicles carrying drone launchers. Meanwhile, overnight, Ukrainian forces launched drone strikes against an oil refinery in Russia's Ryazan region and an oil depot in occupied Luhansk. Footage shared by both Ukrainian and Russian media showed a fire at the Rosneft refinery in Ryazan. Local officials reported no casualties. Now, the same facility was targeted by drones just 1 month ago. Also, on the 5th of September, Ukrainian drones struck residential buildings in Lipetsk and the Energia plant in Yelets. Now, that factory produces batteries and power units, including for use in drones and aerial bombs. On the front line, in the Pokrovsk sector, open-source intelligence researchers note the absence of a clear line of contact. The Ukrainian military has released a video showing the destruction of a Russian tracked armored fighting vehicle with troops east of Mirnogorod. According to the Ukrainian military, the Russian command managed to eliminate the immediate threat of the remnants of the Russian breakthrough in Dobropilya being cut off from the rest of the force. However, the considerable distance between the Ukrainian army's positions still remains. Russian troops in this area are simultaneously holding back Ukrainian counterattacks along the perimeter of the wedge that has formed while attempting to attack in the area of the Pokrovsk-Dobropilya highway, as well as trying to reach the northeastern outskirts of Mirnogorod. In total, the Russians have managed to capture only 3 square kilometers of territory in this sector over the past few days. Ukrainian defenders delivered a precision strike on the permanent deployment point of a Russian armed forces unit. The consequences for the Russians were catastrophic. According to confirmed information, all weapons, equipment and dugouts were burned down at the site of the strike. The Russian losses in manpower are being clarified, but the presence of wounded troops has been confirmed. Once again, it has become clear that there are no reliable shelters or safe rear areas on the Ukrainian front line. Where Ukrainian intelligence operates and high-precision weapons are being used, the Russian army is left only with burned-out ruins.
Остались без техники. Блиндажи выгорают на генераторы. Так. Вот он все въеб... Там же горит, да, там быка нету.
Now, moving on to the next one. In the area around Pokrovsk, fighters from the Czerwona Kalina 14th Special Forces Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine found themselves in an extreme situation. While their pickup truck was moving, an enemy FPV drone suddenly appeared in the sky. The reaction was instantaneous. The soldiers stopped the car and left it literally seconds before the attack. The kamikaze drone targeted the car but missed. Without wasting any time, the soldiers returned to the pickup truck and continued moving in the original direction. This episode is yet another proof of how important it is to swiftly respond to danger and to coordinate one's actions during wartime. Enemy FPV drones leave less and less margin for error, meaning that the Ukrainian units need to hone their skills and stay cool under pressure in order to survive. By the way, that tunnel-like structure you saw at the beginning, made up of netting, that was actually designed to protect against incoming drones, but obviously you can only do that in selected areas where literally you're actually moving into a military base from a military base, or you basically have established a transport corridor. But once you're out there, you really need to rely on your reflexes, as these troops actually did. Now, moving on to our next story. In parts of the Kharkiv region, Ukrainian assault troops are holding positions just 500 meters from the enemy. The air above the Frontline is filled with enemy birds, FPV drones, obviously, and the surrounding area is littered with the bodies of occupiers and the wreckage of downed drones. In the dugout of the 2nd Company of the 1st Assault Battalion, 3rd Assault Brigade, are a Finn, a Hungarian, a few Ukrainians, and a cat nicknamed Mavic. It is a small but well-coordinated team that repels daily attempts by the enemy to advance in small infantry groups. Every enemy attack has so far ended in failure. Despite the constant threat and pounding artillery barrages, the fighters even find time to admire the sunset. For them, it is a moment of calm in the midst of war, a kind of frontline vibe where beauty and destruction coexist side by side.
Рух! Друже, виходь, зустрічай. Ще один летить, затягуйся всередину.
Ушел.
Так уже по Маве пострелял. Туда-сюда, туда-сюда, думаю, и, короче, свалил в сторону.
And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.